We are live. See, what have you been up to? Not a whole lot. I'm ready to get out of the house. What about you?
I mean,
So weird looking.
what is the first thing you're going to do, or what have you been dying to do since this lockdown? So when we know that we can go back to go somewhere, where are you going to go? What are you going to do?
I want to hang out there in the office together. I mean, I don't really.
You want to go to the office?
Well, out to bars. I mean, I'm not gonna go to a bar and drink 30 years.
Favorite restaurant or activity? Anything you want to?
I like golf and I still golf. I still golf.
So this hasn't changed your lifestyle at all.
Not a ton.
Yeah, I mean, I usually turn down most parties I get invited to.
He doesn't get invited to parties.
So it hasn't changed much either, but I think the next party I get invited to that I can go to, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Just because I can.
You should go.
I want to go out to a nice restaurant. I've been eating at home, and I kind of really like going out to nice restaurants.
Which one?
Well,
What's your favorite?
Arsenal.
I mostly go with Debbie. So between her diet and my diet, we got a limited selection. But we'll probably either do Prosino or Magpies or P.F. Chang's, something like that.
What's up, Dusty? Dusty said, hang out with me. There you go, Dusty. We'll hang out with
We'll
you.
hang out with you.
Hey, Shauna. So speaking of doing things with your wife, Lucas and his lovely wife, Ash's anniversary is
Next weekend.
next weekend. So we had a fun conversation this morning. I said, Lucas, that's a new shirt I bet. He said, yep, I got it from my wife for my anniversary, our anniversary, and I got her a pair of flip-flops.
Not flip-flops, slides.
Slides.
So not the thong ones, but the slides.
Sliding.
It was 2 pairs.
Oh, 2 fingers.
Oh, nice.
I splurged a little bit. Yeah.
It's a 5-year, right? It's a big one.
It's a big
T-shirt,
one,
I think you're supposed to get for each year, you're supposed to get something different. I think the 5-year is flip-flops and T-shirts are in polo.
Yeah, we're not huge gift givers, but I enjoy my new polo a lot.
It's a really good looking
And
polo.
I hope she likes her awesome new slides.
She does.
I'm sure she will.
Seeing Dusty up there made me think about Dusty came in the office the other day and he was telling us about this house he bought over in Florissant, and he was walking through the house, and I don't know why he decided to open the freezer. There's a deep freezer in the basement, and he decided to open it, and there was a turtle staring at him.
R.I.P.
Oh, we were live.
Oh, R.I.P.
He was there. A frozen turtle.
We're pretty sure that the guy threw him in there alive, which is screwed up because his head was out and he was doing this. I don't think turtle died.
It's just weird, isn't
When
it?
you thaw them, do they come back to life?
I'm wondering.
Well, we bought the house. We could see.
We're gonna own it shortly.
Next week, we're gonna have the turtle right here defrosting and see if he starts to move.
That's funny.
I'm kidding.
That is funny.
Dusty is on fire. He's bought 2 houses this week or 3?
Three, yeah.
3 the past week. So Dusty's out there buying houses. We are out there.
What's going on, Sharon? What's going on, Zach? Thanks for joining, guys. I really appreciate it. Make sure to ask questions as we go. We got some fun stuff to talk about today, so make sure to ask questions. We'd appreciate it if you'd share it as well. Make sure to comment and share on it and like it. We appreciate that. We get out to more people and can have
Smash that like button. Is that what it looks like? Basically,
It's a thumbs up.
I think it's this way. I don't know which way it is.
hit that like button if you would. Hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube.
Yes, please subscribe. If you're not on YouTube, go to YouTube and subscribe.
We're going to be talking about a few things. So if you got questions on real estate investing, type them in there. We love feedback. We love an interaction.
You love feedback.
So that's fun. I
Like
do.
more than most people, but that's good.
It is good.
Mm-hmm.
You like feedback?
I do, not as much as you, but I do like it. So,
If you like it, you love it.
yeah.
Do you? I do. I do love it, and not only just feedback. I love helping people. So if you got any issues with real estate investing, building portfolio rentals, buying houses, whatever it is, type them in the chat box so we can see if we can help you today. I love that little thing on the bottom. Put your questions in the chat box.
Yeah, so we'll do it.
Shout out to Rachel. That's a figure in that.
Absolutely.
We are professionals.
That's awesome.
Are you rocking?
Let's get rocking. So welcome to our live stream. This is, I'm not sure how I'm pointing. Yeah, Lucas Walls, Sam Prim, and my name is Brian Schroeder. We have a boots on the ground company in St. Louis, Missouri, where we have a flipping business where we're going to buy and sell roughly 180 houses. 182 is our goal this year, and we're a little behind, but not too much. I think we're going to do it.
Yeah.
We got a nice hard money lending business. Got about $10 million on the street. Between the three of us, we got a portfolio of a little over 250 houses, give or take.
Yep.
Or doors, because some of that's apartments. We have a traditional brokerage where we keep helping other homeowners and investors buy or sell their own properties. And we have an education business. So we're trying to give back with this education business. We enjoy doing that, and it's fun. So like we talked about, hit the like and share button if we'd really appreciate it. Just to get other, share the message, get the word out to other people.
For sure. Hey, MPL and Nicole, that's a great question. How often do you refinance? We will get to that later. We're going to talk about a big refinance later. It's kind of the topic. But Nicole, question: how often do you refinance? We'll pop that up when we're getting ready to answer that. So great question. Stay tuned. We'll answer that.
Yeah, thanks for asking that question, Nicole. And hey, we were talking before this got started where everybody was from. So if you're in the chat box out there, just tell us where you're from. We'd like to know.
Yeah, especially if you're outside of the St. Louis market, let us know. We got a lot of St. Louis people in
Yeah,
here.
last week we had someone in the Virgin Islands was watching.
That was really cool. So let's talk about how business has been this week. So Sam, you want to get us started off? Could you kind of run sales and marketing for our flipping business? How have leads been this week?
Leads have been pretty good. The past week and a half, leads have been doing pretty well. I think we had 21 leads in the last week, Saturday to Sunday. So 21 leads. This time of the year, I think that's pretty average. I think, this is a busier time. We usually average about 25 leads. So we were right there. We bought 5 houses so far this week, and we're close on a couple more. So they're all really good houses. They're right in the price point we want to be at. Good, quick, we'll either keep them in the office or wholesale them to a landlord. They're kind of landlord friendly houses. So business is doing pretty well. People are adapting and getting pictures and going looking at houses and keeping their distance and everything. So we're definitely following all the guidelines, but we're still buying houses. Hopefully we'll buy a couple more this week, buy 7, we'll buy a house a day.
House a day, that would be awesome. And Lucas, you kind of a little bit more on the disposition side, as in selling things, or at least tracking that. So how have sales been? And are you seeing anything different from retail sales versus wholesale sales? Anything there?
Well, retail's still moving well, real well, especially if it's a nicely rehabbed house, priced right, in a good price point. Under $250,000 is kind of where we like to stay in the St. Louis market. Those are moving well. We got a wholesale under contract to sell this week as well. So they're still moving, but I think a little slower than retail maybe. And then also out of the 3 houses that we bought yesterday, I think we'll have those under contract to sell by the end of the week, just because they're awesome deals, and a lot of people watching right now would love to have.
Mostly landlord friendly deals.
Yeah,
All 3 landlord deals.
They all should burr out just fine. They don't need a ton of work on the rehab. They all should burr out pretty nicely in cash flow, and we got a good enough price. We can give them to somebody else at a good price.
That reminds me of something I wanted to say at the beginning, and I forgot. I wanted to share with everybody. Sam and Lucas in their rental business got a check for over $880,000. Was that Tuesday, a couple days ago?
Yeah, it was. It was actually a hair under $880,000.
879,534.
Is that the biggest check you've ever gotten?
Yeah.
That's not even close.
So before the end of this live stream today, they're going to talk about what they're going to buy with that 800, or maybe what how they're going to use that 880,000. I suggested maybe a yacht down in,
Good investments, right?
Yeah.
Zero maintenance.
Yeah.
Zero maintenance.
We're going to get into that. How we got a check for $880,000. It's pretty fun.
It is a great story, so stick around for that. So in our lending business, it seems like a typical, we try to shoot for 3 to 4 loans per week. And it seems like we've been on the 2-a-week track here over the last few weeks. But I'm optimistic that that's going to ramp up to that 3 or more. So lending is good. We are still lending. So if anybody is out there having trouble getting loans, feel free to reach out to us. So in our lending business is hard money lending business, where we're lending to local rehabbers and landlords.
That's what I'm going to put this one up there just so everyone can see it. Shauna said Lucas got a basic. I think she said he got a check for $880,000. He bought his wife to his clients. That's pretty funny.
The funny thing is, I didn't know what slides were while I bought these.
I didn't
And I
either.
gave them to her, and she's like, "Oh, these are slides." I'm like, "What are slides? Have you guys heard of slides?"
I have.
And the other thing, their anniversary is next week, and they both already gave each other their
We're
gift.
bad at that.
Yeah.
We're bad at that. The Amazon package came, I had to give it to her.
That's great. You guys gave it to each other, so you guys are perfect for each other. That's awesome.
We got someone, Nicole's in New Mexico.
Nice.
That's incredible, Nicole. What's
Thanks
up?
for joining us from New Mexico.
That is awesome. And I said hi to MPL earlier, so MPL is Mark LeBeau.
Hi, Mark. I haven't seen Mark in a long time. Good to hear from you, Mark. So we have a traditional brokerage, and Matt Becker runs that show, and he gives us an update every week how many listings and sales we've been have going on. And I feel like the residential business, it just keeps on a rocket. It's very resilient right now. He keeps surprising me at how many new listings and how many new buyers he's working with every week. So,
I think he said he had 6 or 7 buyers last week contact
Over the weekend.
And I think Magnolia didn't have a record, close to a record month in this existence in April during all this stuff. So it's crazy how resilient it's been.
so it is.
Yeah, I think their goal is like 48 million in sales for the year, and this month alone, I think they're on track for like 6 or 7 million. It's gonna be a great month for Magnolia in the retail space.
Rocking. The real estate market is resilient. The other thing that we talked a little bit about the last couple of weeks is rent collection, because I think there was some concern on how people were going to do collecting rent on their single families or their apartments with I don't know what's going on with the virus and those tenant strikes that people were talking about or whatever. And my wife runs our rental business, Debbie, and we're actually going to shoot a little video this afternoon, so it'll be up on our YouTube page here in a few days. But we have collected 100% of our rent for April. And so I don't know, she's doing freaking awesome at it. So I've been real impressed with, it's going well. It's really going really well. How you guys been doing on your rent collection?
We've been doing pretty well. I think we're right at about 90%, slightly over right now. We're a little over 90% right now for the month. I think we got a couple more checks coming in. Hopefully we'll be close to that 95. I don't think we'll quite get to that 100%, but we're close. And I posted on Landlords of STL Facebook page yesterday, or I think Phil Blackwood did. And I think almost everybody, I think we had over 20 comments, and almost everybody was 90 to 100% collected. So I think next month could potentially be a struggle, but like everything, I think it's, people expect the worst, and it didn't quite, it's not going to quite get to that, especially here, at least in St. Louis. So I think hopefully most people are collecting what they were going to collect or more. I think Debbie said this morning that a lot of people are paying like past dues that they were past due with this extra money they're getting. Some of your tenants are getting extra this month. You might collect over 100%.
Yeah, it's been really good. All right, so let's do a shout. We want to do a shout out every week to a trusted vendor in our business. The person we want to shout out this week is Mike Kicko Coaching. So Mike Kicko is an executive coach. He loves helping business owners take their business to the next level. Mike has been my personal and business coach for the last couple of years. So shout out to, if anybody is struggling either with their mindset or struggling in the strategy for their business, reach out to Mike Kicko. He'll help you, move your business forward. So just a shout out to Mike there. So let's move on to our main topic this week. You guys received a check on Tuesday for $879,000. Where did this check come from? How did you guys get a check for $879,000 in your rental business?
I found it in the parking lot. It was crazy.
Now, we've been, as some of you know, some of you may not, but we've been investing and buying rental properties over the last 6 years. And with the way they've appreciated, and with our tenants paying down our mortgage, we were sitting at about 65% loan to value. And every single house and property had its own loan on it, a separate loan. So we were paying a whole bunch of different mortgages each month. And that 65% were kind of some interest rates were 6% here, 20-year AMs here. So we just wanted to take the whole portfolio up to 75%. And that difference between the 65 to 75% was the $879,000 that Brian's talking about. So
you did a little cash out refinance on your entire rental portfolio.
we did. The terms of the loan would be a 30-year amortization, 10-year fixed, 4.5% interest rate.
Yep.
And so we put $880,000 in our pocket, and with the improved loan terms, increased our monthly cash flow about $6,000 to $7,000.
Which is a crazy part of it. And my favorite part of it, besides the money, is we're still sitting at 75%. And I think they appraised, you always think they're worth a little more. I think technically everything's worth a little more if we try to sell it than what it appraised for. So I really think we're sitting really safe. We didn't go up to 85% to pull out this money. We went up to 75, pretty conservative ARV. So I think we're really sitting. We didn't stress our loan or stress our portfolio too much and stress everything by doing this. We were able to do it and stay at a very, very reasonable, loan to value.
Yeah, I would almost say less stress because we got more cash flow and some money to have in reserves now. So yeah,
It's freaking awesome.
it's a beautiful thing, it really is.
So you're increasing your cash flow by $6,000 to $7,000
Per month,
per month. How much do you guys collect on a monthly basis, give or take?
85.
85,000.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's amazing that you were able to raise your and it's because the interest rate went down and your amortization period got extended.
I think our bank note, I could be 100% wrong. I think our bank note went something from like 36,000 to 30,000 combined.
Yeah.
So that's why we're paying the bank. We're paying the bank $30,000, once a month on one note, as opposed to, paying a bunch a little bit every, whenever the note falls up to 36,000.
I think this kind of, I want to get into your guys' story and your timeline here a little bit. But before we do that, I think this kind of fits really good with that question.
Yeah, let's pull that back up. Nicole asked.
Yeah, Nicole asked, how often do you guys refinance your properties? So you want to speak about that, Juanita?
Yeah, we can. So this is the first time. So once in every 6 years is, I think, what we're talking about. I'll leave that question up there. But
Yeah, besides the initial BRRRR.
besides the initial BRRRR. So yeah, we use the BRRRR method, which means we buy it, we fix it up, we get it rented, we refinance. So if you don't know what the BRRRR method is, check out our YouTube page because we have a whole playlist about it, about 3 hours worth of content about what the BRRRR method is. So we buy them, fix them up, and then refinance them. But after that, we get on long-term financing, and we have not done any refinances yet in the first 6 years. So we just did it once. I know some people do it more, some people do it less. We don't really have a tried and true system. Bryan, has been doing it for over 20 years, so this might be a little bit more off to how you do it.
Well, I think it kind of fits in with what your overall strategy is. You guys just reset your loans to 75% of your overall portfolio's value. And one other thing I think is worth noting is when you get that $880,000 check, that's tax-free money, at least right now. I mean, someday down the road, when you sell the properties, there'll be a tax consequence, but $880,000 of tax-free money this year.
That will not be on our tax returns, that's for sure.
That you can do anything you want with.
So we can. And yeah, Brian talks about a yacht. That might not be a bad idea.
You do buy a yacht with your half. I'm not buying a yacht with my half.
So I think to answer Nicole's question, it kind of fits in with what your overall strategy is. You guys' strategy, I felt, was to get your interest rates down, lower your overall monthly payment, and increase your reserves, and you were able to do that all at the same time.
Right. We also just looked at our portfolio and looked at the market. We thought we were at close to the peak. So values are as high now as they're going to be probably in the next year or two, and interest rates are crazy low. So we thought we could take advantage of that right now and free up some cash and increase cash flow.
Yeah, we started all this in February before all this stuff happened, with the COVID and coronavirus. So it was lucky, a lot of it was lucky timing. But give me that point. Not a whole lot of luck involved there, but like the timing of it, definitely fortunate on our part.
So how often, kind of maybe depend a little bit, this kind of happened in part to you guys because you're taking advantage of the market conditions.
Right.
And you locked that in for 10 years too.
Yeah.
So you got that's a lot. They can't change your interest rate or or anything for 10 years. So who knows what the world's going to be like 10 years from now.
Right. And I think that's just the flexibility that you earn when you have a rental portfolio for numerous years. If you're just getting started, you're probably going to be fairly highly leveraged, so you don't have these type of options. But if you've had your portfolio for 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, and you're sitting at 50% loan to value, I think there's something you can do there to help better your investment, your return on investment.
Yeah, Brian always preaches, which is brilliant, either be at 80% loan to value or 0, because if you're at 0, you can take a line of credit out, you can do things. If you're sitting at 50% loan to value, you have 50% equity, but you can't really do anything. It's kind of unusable equity. So you either bring it up to 80 and pull cash out and use that equity, or pay it down to 0 and then have that paid off house you can do things with. So we're kind of brought it up to that 75. We brought it up to that high, that higher loan to value percentage, and then going to see what we do from there.
Good. So Nicole just threw in there a comment. I just have one home currently, but I'm waiting for interest rates to drop below 4%, and that's good. Depending on what kind of loans you're talking about, I'm not sure. I mean, you guys got 4.5%.
Yeah.
I don't know if the local banks will ever get below 4%. They very well may. Who knows? But the Fannie Mae Freddie Mac stuff's probably below 4% right now, I would think, or maybe right at, give or take. Not sure. I haven't looked at an investment property there. Okay, cool. So she just added a little comment in there. We're at 80% right now, which is good. All around 175 is worth 220 to 245. So thanks for the comments there, Nicole. That's awesome. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate that.
And you're at 4.75 right now, so that's good.
Yeah.
You're in good shape.
If anybody else has something they'd like to point out about their rental portfolio, go ahead and throw it in there. It doesn't have to be a question.
So, Sam and Lucas, let's go back to the beginning. So, how did you guys get into buying rentals? What made you guys get started in this?
Well, I was an engineer, and I moved to Kansas City right out of school. And I was looking to rent a property, and the rent was like $1,200-$1,300, and my salary really wouldn't support that. So I was like, maybe I'll just buy one. And when I could buy that same house and have a mortgage on it for like $700, and that the difference between rent and what my mortgage would be if I owned just blew my mind. And ever since then, I've just been really educating myself. And I called Sam probably that next day and was like, hey, when I move back to St. Louis, we're doing this thing. So moved back to St. Louis and we bought our first house in 2014 off the MLS for $77,000, put in about 20 grand. We were gonna flip that house and sell it retail, but we met Bryan in the middle of the rehab. He introduced us to the Burr method, and it pretty much changed our whole trajectory of our career.
Yeah, Luke and I have always kind of had that entrepreneurial itch. We had a painting business in college. We paint exterior decks and interior houses, and just do, always wanting to kind of do our own thing, be our own bosses, control our own destiny. So out of school, we each got our W-2 jobs and slowly kind of built this rental portfolio and met the right people and got to the point where we could become our own bosses and we could, get out of that, daily working for someone else and working for ourselves and kind of controlling our own destiny a little more.
So tell us about that first deal. So you bought it. Where do you remember how you found the deal?
It's on the MLS.
On the MLS.
Yeah. Foreclosure on the MLS. I bought it for $77,000. I think we looked at a house at a wholesale price in that same subdivision this past week, and they wanted 105. It was an off-market deal. So that just shows you how crazy that is. So yeah, I think it appraised for 125 grand after we did the rehab. I think it's worth 160 today. So
you bought it off the MLS.
Yep.
You guys rehabbed it a lot yourselves?
Yeah. Yep.
We did a lot of the work ourselves. We were there every weekend, Saturdays and Sundays. Luke should have been buying his wife a lot of slides back then to help make up for us being gone all the time. So we were gone all the time, working on doing a lot of work ourselves. We hired some stuff out, didn't really know what we were doing. We just did it and learned along the way. And fortunate enough to have it appraised out, we could get our money back. But quickly to hit on that first one. So our loan was 100 and it was worth 125. But in the next 6 years, our loan went down to 85 and it was worth 160. So there's 75,000, my math's right, equity right there. And that's what we did basically times 110 properties, our whole portfolio. So that just shows you the tenant paid the note down, we didn't. And then it grew in value. So having that middle ground is what we just tapped into for that 880 grand.
Awesome. That's a great story. That was your first deal, over in Maryland Heights, and you guys have, so that was your first one. How many doors do you guys own today?
We are under contract to purchase our 110th.
110. And kind of, what's the mix between single family, multifamily, and so forth?
Almost 50-50. I think we literally are gonna have 55 single family houses and 55 apartment complex doors. There's a small storage facility on the back one of our apartments. We don't really count that as doors, but there's a 12 bonus. It's 12. And they're doors, 12
Nice.
doors.
Nice.
They're really nice, but we don't count those as our doors. But basically, right, it's gonna be 50-50, and it is right now. We have plans for how we're gonna have the percentages towards which going forward, but I don't know.
So we're not gonna stop at 110?
We're not gonna stop at 110.
So
So
I thought that was it.
now, why don't you tell everybody the new goal?
Oh, the new goal is, wow.
Brian doesn't even know the new goal.
The big one?
Yeah.
The big one is to have $100 million in assets.
$100 million in assets.
So
So where are you at right now, roughly?
Yeah, about 8.5.
So from 8.5 to 100. Well, listen, I mean, you're 10%, almost, you're 8% of the way there,
Yeah.
9%. So you're almost 10% of the way there. You did that so you bought your first one 6 years ago, is that right?
Yep.
So in 6 years, you went from nothing to almost 9 million in assets, 110 doors. Okay, question. How much of your own money have you put in those 110 doors?
Not a dollar.
How did you buy 110 doors without putting any of your own money? Can you tell us just a couple stories about that?
Yeah, I'll go.
Why don't you hit on the single families, I'll hit on the
Okay, so the single families, we use the private lender and hard money. We still use faster funds lending to this day, and we have a bunch of private lenders that we've acquired over the years. Family, friends, people that we know that have some extra money that want to diversify their portfolio a little bit. A lot of them just got crushed with the stock market recently, but people that have money in the stock market but have an extra $100,000-$200,000 that they're willing to give you that you can use for rental. So we did the Burr method, which is our very first deal. We borrowed $95,000-ish from our private lender. We bought the house for $77,000. We ended up putting right at about $95,000-ish in it. So all his money was used, and then it appraised for $125,000, and then we got a $100,000 check from the bank, and we gave the private lender $100,000, and he made $5,000, and we had $0 out of our pocket, and we got it rented. And so just did that over and over 55 times. We bought 27 houses at one time, and we're able to still Burr it.
So basically, you use the Burr method. So if anybody doesn't know what the Burr method is, just Google it. We have YouTube videos on the process. So it's just called the Burr method, and lots of videos out there on YouTube, including our channel. So go into more detail on it if you want to that way.
Real quick, Nicole, to answer your question. Yes, we were able to see the inside. It was listed on the MLS as a foreclosure. We weren't real estate agents yet, and we just went with her, driving around on a Saturday, looked at a bunch of houses, and this is the one we got.
Yeah, Banco House.
Yeah, so just to add to the foreclosures a little bit, there's basically, when people talk about foreclosures, I think there's basically 3 types. So it's when somebody's late on their payment, but they still own it. That's called a short sale. And you can do a short sale on somebody's property by basically asking the bank for permission to buy the house for less than they owe on it, but they still own the house, but the bank is taking a discount. Then there's also, the next step is buying at the courthouse steps. So that's where you actually, quite often you can't get inside the house, or maybe you gotta break in the house maybe a little bit or something, look into the windows, whatever, maybe knock on the doors.
Did Brian just tell you guys to break it up?
On live TV.
You can't edit that.
So that's, when people talk about buying at the courthouse steps, that is an auction literally on the courthouse steps or outside or around the courthouse. Sometimes it's a patio outside, sometimes it's inside the lobby. And there's an auction, and you're buying and you're paying cash for that house there that day. But then there's the other one, which is where it goes to the courthouse steps. The bank ends up getting the house back because nobody bid what the bank's minimum bid or opening bid was at the courthouse steps. The bank gets that property back. That's called REO, real estate owned by a bank. And then they typically just will list it with a real estate broker.
Yep.
And in your house, your first house, that's the scenario.
Yep.
Yeah, that, it was in 2014. So I guess people at the steps just weren't buying or something. I don't know why they passed up that one.
It was, yeah, back.
People still a little
2014,
gun shy.
we were just coming out of it, and
Yeah.
so, yeah. Real quickly, Brian, you want to answer this, and then Luke will get on to how we did our, multi-families with no money out of pocket.
How do you qualify for Fast Shot Smart Money? Well, you go to FasterFundsLending.com and you, it tells you all about it right there. Ariel and Suzanne do that, and I honestly couldn't answer that question well. How do you qualify for our money? But it's super easy. Just go. Give us if you go to FasterFundsLending.com and reach out to Ariel. She can walk you through the process. Super easy. So definitely do that, George. And thanks for asking the question.
It's similar to an application for any other type of loan, correct? Just a
Yeah.
little simpler.
Yeah, and I would say it is simpler. And if you're thinking, I think a lot of people use hard money because banks don't like short-term loans. Because they prefer longer-term loans. So if you're just buying a house, rehabbing it, or reselling it, you might only own it for 3 or 4 or 5 months. And banks don't really like those short-term loans. And then the other thing is, banks typically are going to want you to have great credit and a good job, and W-2 type income. We don't necessarily care about that. All we care about is how to buy a house, rehab it, resell it, or you understand the BRRRR method and you know how to buy a house on the front end at a discount and able to fix it up, get it rented, and refinance out on the back end. And so then you can find good deals. So the key to our hard money lending business is working with people that know how to find deals and know how to buy a house, rehab, and resell it, that type of thing. So
Cool, awesome. Well, I talked about how we bought our single family, 55 houses with no money out of pocket. Why don't you talk about how we did that with our multifamily?
Yeah, so the multifamily, it's really the same premise. We use private lenders, but we do the BRRRR method. It's just over a couple of years. With the houses, I think we BRRRR out of them, 2 to 6 months.
Yeah, 60 to 120 days usually.
Right. So with the multifamily deals, well, we bring in partners that want to get involved either in investing in real estate or owning a little bit of real estate, but not wanting to do any of the work. So we partner with private lenders who we have a previous relationship with, and they help fund the down payment and also the rehab costs or the capital improvements of that property. And that'll be 20% would be the down payment plus whatever the rehab cost is. And then 80% would go to a bank and get a loan for. So you can structure these deals any way you want, which is the cool thing about it. You can have an equity partner, you can have a debt partner, but they get some monthly cash flow and then some of the upside. So what's cool about this refinance is we proved the model worked. So one of our private lenders on one of our big apartment complexes that we just refinanced gave us $75,000 2 years ago, and we're going to give him a check for $125,000 back this week. So he's going to be freaking stoked about it, and he's going to be more willing to jump into that next deal with us at first.
Yep, and we were able to do all that and refinance back out and make it all work because we didn't know if it was going to work or not. Our whole plan was to buy a apartment complex, some of the money.
We'll figure it out later.
And we'll refinance out in 3 to 5 years and we'll pay with extra cash flow, whatever. So it just kind of shows that it works.
do you mind sharing a little bit about maybe how you structured that first private lender note with your private lender, maybe how you would do it differently now that you...
Yeah, we have done it differently. I mean, I don't think we would offer those terms.
Yeah, so the very first deal we did, we gave them a piece of equity and then also a preferred return. So we gave them a 7% on this money they invested monthly and then an upside on the equity. So that's
7% annualized.
Annualized, I'm sorry, yep. So then upside on the equity, so that's why his $75,000 turned into $125,000. Giving them that much equity, it depends on the project. Whether to give them equity or not, but the latest deal we did was more of a debt structure where we have, it's a long-term deal for the private lender, but they don't get an upside of the equity. There's just certain payouts that we've already figured out for the next 10 years. Every year has a certain payout. So he gave us $100,000 or something, year 2, he gets 104 back. Year 3, he gets 105 back. It just goes up every year a little bit.
Along with that preferred interest every month.
Yep.
They kind of get, or preferred return, so they kind of get a little bit of both on that.
Yes, especially right now, private investors, private lenders, they don't know what to do because the stock market's crazy. And not only do they want to see an upside to the deal, they want to see that initial capital investment is safe. That's a huge part to these guys right now. They want to get that back before they even start thinking about getting an upside. So just have a good deal for them and show them that their investment's safe.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Lucas. That's good. Feel free to throw us any more questions or comments in that chat box. We'd like to answer some more questions out there. So I'm curious for Sam, Lucas, you guys, how have you changed your strategy based on what's going on with the virus right now, either in the flipping business or in your rental business? However you guys want to answer that.
Yeah, I'll start that a little bit. Yeah, we haven't really changed a whole bunch in our rental business. We are in that price point. Most of what we own is worth, or most of what we buy is going to be worth between $100,000 and $150,000 after we fix it up and rehab it. I'm pretty confident that price point is going to stay pretty steady. I think it'll plateau or maybe drop a little bit, but not much. I don't even think 5%, just because I don't think that there's enough out there. The supply definitely is depleted. The demand is much higher than the supply in that price range. So how we do those is we buy them and then we refinance in 60 days. So we're pretty confident that 60 days from now, the property, we know what it's going to be worth. So we're actively buying, especially with a lot of people not actively buying. I think we're buying 3 houses this month, closing on 3 rentals this month. So we're actively growing, just kind of other people are shying away. And we're okay with adding with that little bit of unknown. A few months ago, we knew exactly what probably was going to be worth. It's a little bit unknown now, but I'm fairly confident that it's not going to drop that much. And like Bryan said, we have that extra money that if we do have to come to the table $1,000 or $2,000 to make the BRRRR method work, we're okay with that. If we're adding an asset that's going to be a long-term, over the long term, we're going to make a lot of money on it. We're okay with a little bit of money out of pocket right now because we have that extra money.
Yeah, I think we were thinking about putting the offer in on a retail commercial building, and I think we didn't because this is going on. And we actually already own the building in our flipping business, so all 3 of us own it. But Sam and I were just going to pick it off and throw it in our rental portfolio. But had a couple guys, 2 out of 6 not being able to pay rent this month, so that was kind of a little red flag on my end, and I stepped away from that. So we're gonna keep it all 3 of us for now.
You're welcome, Bryan.
So sounds good. So it doesn't sound like in the residential business has really changed that much.
Yeah, well, flipping, we changed our offers to 5% less, pretty much. So we're trying to buy 5% deeper, which in turn helps us buy our rental properties similar discounted percentage less.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to the big question. So you guys got a check for $880,000. What are you going to do with that money?
Yeah, so as we talked about earlier with some of our multifamilies, we do have some private lenders, and we're going to pay off about $300,000 of private lenders or so. Put some money in Sam and I's personal accounts because being an entrepreneur over the past 5 years, kind of completed those a little bit. So that'll be nice to have that boosted back up. And then we'll have a nice chunk in our business operating personal account, business operating account for reserves as well.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We're kind of split it up strategically, pay people off, take a good chunk for ourselves, and then have some in the bank just to have a little bit of extra cushion there, personally and professionally in the bank, and then kind of figure out from there. We'll have a good chunk, so we can, if a great deal passes away, we can put money down on it, or we can use it for different things, or maybe buy our next deal cash and not have that the BRRRR, maybe buy that cash and not have to pay a lender. So we have options, I guess, on what it is. We're not going to go buy a boat or do anything crazy.
Are you going to celebrate it anyway? Even like
Flip flops.
Yeah. There's just so much going on. We bought a 27 package of houses, and we're able to BRRRR out, buy all those and get, BRRRR out after 3 months without even having a private lender involved. And we said we were going to celebrate. We didn't really celebrate that. We just kind of kept going. So hopefully we'll celebrate this, but
We need to.
keep going.
We need to. It's not like we go to a beach or anything, which is the kind of crappy part, but we'll celebrate. Maybe the same pool this summer.
There you go. There you go.
You do have a pool. That's pretty nice. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I don't know if it was me. I'd be tempted to go buy a new car or.
You would not stop it.
Maybe. Motorcycle?
I'm building a new house.
Well, there you go. There you go.
That'll help with that.
Nice. Well, that's awesome. It's good to celebrate, so I encourage you to celebrate a little bit. So, any other questions up there? So,
Yeah, George.
how is the market right now? Seeing an uptick on notices of foreclosures. I'll take that, and you guys can just kind of go around a little bit. So, in general, I feel like the real estate market is really resilient. And kind of like Lucas was alluding to a little bit ago, we primarily stay in the residential real estate market. I suspect, if you're, you got commercial property, especially retail commercial, that there's more challenges going on, and maybe there is an uptick in notice of foreclosures. But in the residential market, I don't see it.
Yeah, there's, I think, 6% of all the mortgages in the country requested forbearance, is what I heard. Yeah, I think if the percentage of that's going to turn into foreclosure, I don't know. But
And it'll probably be 3, 6, 9 months before we really see that happening. So it's just too early, I think, George, to answer your question, to see that uptick.
But my guess is foreclosures will uptick. I think we're at an all-time low, the past 6 months in foreclosures. So with all this going on, people losing their job, the forbearances, and people not being able to, when they do get their job back, pay that extra money back, depending on how it's structured. Yeah, I do think there's going to be an uptick in foreclosures in the next 6 to 12 months. I just, don't know how much or exactly when.
Yeah, so that's a great question. We appreciate the questions out there. So, and just we want to share with you guys, if anybody's interested in learning more about anything that we're doing in our education business with, well, there you go. Richard put on there. Want to increase your business? Want financial freedom for real estate? Join our coaching program. So we do have a coaching program. We do some boot camps and webinars. So if anybody's interested in any of those things, just reach out to us. Just go to FasterFreedom.com there. All the information's there. We are going to do this live stream every week on Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time on Thursday of every week. So come back to us again next week. Last question before we wrap this up. You guys kind of alluded to this earlier, but you've gotten to this point. You got a big check, big cash out check. You got 110 doors. You got close to $9 million worth of assets in your real estate portfolio. What's next? What are you going to do next?
I'll talk short term, real quick. I think our current team consists of Sam and I. We have an operations supervisor, Bryan. We have an office manager and bookkeeper, Courtney, and then we have a maintenance technician, Alan. So with that current team, I think we can handle about 150 doors. So over the next year or two, getting to that 150 with our current team, whether it's multifamily, probably a mix of multifamily and single family rentals, getting to that 150 and kind of see from there where we're needing the most help, so we can continue to grow after that 150.
Yeah, I think that's as far as we're looking. I think we kind of have that long-term goal of that 100 million in assets owned. It's a nice big round number. It definitely seems obtainable now. That was never really the goal, but looking back, I don't know if I thought that was obtainable. So yeah, our goal is to kind of just grow a little chunk at a time and then reevaluate from there. Is kind of how we've been doing. Our original plan, we grabbed dinner, at the end of 2013, I think, and was one house a year for 10 years. We've changed a little bit. So I do think that we initially thought 100 single family houses, and then I don't know how many multifamily doors, maybe 500, 1,000, whatever it would take to get to 100 million. But I don't know if that's changed a lot. We haven't really talked about it. I know the single family investing seems to be a little bit stronger right now with all this COVID stuff and coronavirus and apartments potentially being less appetizing to live in. And, I think the apartments are going to be affected a little bit more. And there's a lot of apartments out there. There's an all-time high apartment construction going on right now. So I don't know if it's going to be more single families now or not, but we'll just kind of play it by ear, and you guys will get to take the journey with us. So we're going to keep doing this.
What about you, Bryan? I know your portfolio is a little more mature than ours. You got 120 4 houses at the moment,
We do
and 53 of them paid off.
59.
59 of them paid off. That's incredible.
Next week it's going to be 62. We're paying off 3 next week.
Hell
So-
yes, that's amazing. That's amazing.
So,
Well, yeah, next step for you guys.
I don't know. I kind of like to have our portfolio leveraged at 40% right now. So we're just going to leave it at 40%. And that's where we are right now. So our portfolio is worth about 13 million, a little over 13 million, and we're a little less than 40% on our leverage right now. So we're, like Sam was talking about earlier, we're keeping it either, the house is either paid off or leveraged at 80%.
Yeah.
So every year or so, we go back and look at that, and we do a couple little refis to make that happen. And we're just upgrading our portfolio, as in we did buy some what I'm going to call C minus, maybe even D plus type properties several years back. We're basically selling those off and replacing them with, I would say, B plus type properties. Stuff that's going to rent for between 1,100 and 1,500 in that price range. And we're going to continue to do that and probably ramp it back up to 150 properties, leverage that 40%. And
Nice.
once we get there, we'll decide what to do next.
Heck yeah, I think there'll be a good opportunity to get some rentals at a discount here soon.
I think so too. All right, it was fun today. Let's do it again next week, next Thursday, 11:30. Thanks for joining us, everybody. See you next.
In the meantime, go to our YouTube channel where we put out YouTube videos every Tuesday and Saturday morning. So go there, check them out, and subscribe and like the channel, and check us out on FasterFreedom.com and on Instagram at FasterFreedom and on Facebook at FasterFreedom. So we wanted to be able to connect with you guys more than just this once a week. So you can get a hold of us however you see fit. All righty, guys. Have a good rest of your week.
See you guys.